Javi here.
Gonna do your, like you used to do in cut-ins.
Yes. Right. Hello friends, I'm Nazi Javid here with my hubby,
Eddie.
Edward
Hello.
Wilson, Mr. Edward Wilson. And we have a special guest. I don't know if you can see her. She's right there. She's hanging
Barbie
out.
Wilson, the dog, is behind us.
With us. And we are just coming on to talk about, a lot of people have commented since we got married so publicly during the pandemic. Online, we had a pandemic wedding. You can always watch it on YouTube. When we didn't have any guests, we were able to put together a wedding virtually and invite everyone that way. So if you don't know us, I am a news anchor. He's a police sergeant, and we met working together on a story and a series of stories, and our relationship is kind of played out in the media in front of a lot of people who have subsequently asked us, what makes it work? How do you have such a great relationship, especially given all the stressors of life that everybody has, right? Work, health, family, there's just a lot of moving parts. And so we came on and we wanted to share with you our 9 habits for a healthy relationship. And the number 1 on our list is
Communication.
Communication. Why is communication important? A, transparency in everything. I mean,
Right.
You were transparent from day one when I met you. He told me literally everything.
You had a better chance of telling you everything ahead of time than to let it come up later on. So.
Yeah, and it's not like there was anything crazy there, but I mean, it's important to have that transparency off the top. I think a lot of times people, when they get into a relationship and they start dating, they try to put their, their best foot forward, which is great, but also we're human and we have flaws and we have little things about us that make us unique. And being straightforward about that off the top, I think really provided us with a solid foundation for our relationship.
I agree.
Also, there's a huge importance to over communicating. I tell this to the people that I work with, at work, better to over communicate, better to message 10 people that you're going to be late than know people and assume that they'll know,
Right.
Always better to communicate. And that goes for relationship too, especially when you're co-parenting. Oh, here's the dog.
We're co-parenting and we're 3 hours away from each other. So that is important that we are always on the same page.
Yeah, and so same page with scheduling and our work schedules. It's very important. He works a graveyard
Overtime,
shift. Right now.
Days off, whatever it might be.
We work different hours, and so we always plan ahead of time. We have that schedule, and we're always working together to find out, what time that we have to spend with each other, and that will come later on our list. But, family commitments. Also, it's important to know and notice the nonverbal cues that your partner's giving you. Women, we give a lot more of those than the guys do. But he's very good at recognizing them, and that makes a really good foundation for us, I think, as well.
Yeah,
and
I have to be aware. I have to be aware when I...
You have to be very aware.
Be very aware, yeah. Because sometimes it doesn't take anything more than like 30 seconds. I can take a look on her face, and I know if something is awry, so...
Yes, expression signs. We've been really fortunate that he's very good at that.
We talk a lot. Like our communication is very good. So I know there's a lack of that communication. Either there's not a lot, and there's something that we need to discuss that would have to be discussed later on. So
yeah, I really we've never had an argument.
No.
We've never argued, and and that's due, I think, to the fact that we're very good communicators. And be transparent. Don't expect somebody to know what you're going through and what you're thinking.
Right.
I think women especially, we are guilty of playing these little, he should know that I'm upset. Listen, if you're upset about something or something is stressing you out, don't expect them to ask you and then you say it. Just communicate, over communicate. And I think that builds a solid relationship.
Definitely.
And especially communication with parenting. If you're parents, you got to be on the same page, how you're going to parent, what the rules are, what the foundation is, ground rules, allowances,
everything.
Permission to do what all of
what they
that.
wear to school. We have a 16-year-old. What they wear to school is a big one these days.
Yes. Okay. So that's number 1, communication. Number 2 is intimacy. Intimacy, because we're talking about not just physical but emotional intimacy as well. It is very important to connect with your partner and to schedule in that time with each other and to do little things that show that you care.
Right.
You leave me little notes, I leave him little notes, and we have a gratitude jar where we talk, we leave little notes for each other about what we're grateful for that person. And then later on we pick them out and read them. And it's just like little ways to show that we care.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of touch too. And just like a nice, warm, embracing hug, like just silence, and just the power of touch, the intimacy.
And I think the communication and the other stuff, the other just connecting with your partner and the way that we connect makes the other part of it even that much better.
Yeah.
The physical intimacy comes easier and is better with the fact that we're so close, and how we talk, how we handle our lives, how we don't, there's anything that goes on that we don't know about with each other. And so I think that helps. It's very helpful.
For sure. We're friends first, and we're married second. So we were that way before we got married. We were friends first, and we talked about everything, and we're very open. We don't hide anything from each other. That goes back to that transparency. It's what we expect out of our leaders. It's what we expect out of the president. It's what we expect out of our police. That transparency, and that's because it's so important to us, right? Being able to trust and know that person is telling the truth all the time. Having that trust there is a critical part of a healthy relationship. And so we expect that in other areas of our life. We have to have that transparency in the relationship, and it makes it work really well.
It does.
All right. Number 3 is schedule everything.
Yes.
Schedule everything. We schedule literally every weekends in advance. We're like, okay, what are we doing this month? What are we doing on this date? I live on my Outlook calendar. I have his, the time that we're going to spend together scheduled into my calendar. Very important. Otherwise, you just come up and you're busy and life gets busy and you forget to schedule those like date nights and those that time away.
And we have to, because we live 3 hours apart. So a lot of that has to be scheduled.
But even when we didn't live apart, we still scheduled.
We still scheduled everything. That was we had to, because your new schedule was super erratic at that time, and my schedule was no more stable than yours. So we had to put something in writing to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, and we do that with work, right? Like you schedule work dates, you schedule sales appointments, we do all of that for our job. So why wouldn't we do that for our family, for each other?
Right.
It's just a really important thing to have a plan and prioritize it. I always tell my employees or my staff or the people that I work with, the 5 P's, proper planning prevents poor performance. We do it in work. So it's the same thing in a relationship. Proper planning prevents a poor relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Make a commitment. Follow your commitment, keep your word. It's easy, I think, in relationships to be like, okay, well, we can cancel this because we can just reschedule it. We see each other. Like, don't do that. Hold your commitment, hold that line, hold it strong. Family, friends, people, commitments these people are going to come at you and try to take that time. And, this weekend we have a wedding, or this weekend we want you guys to be at this. Well, listen, that's all great and dandy, but if you're not good for yourself, like if we're not good for each other, then we're not good for anybody else either.
Right.
So schedule that time in, that alone time, and be persistent about your couple's time.
Definitely.
Number 4 is compromise. Compromise. I think I don't even like the word compromise, because I feel like it's
not about giving in, but I think that it's something that we work on. I mean, I don't know if it works for everybody, but for us, we're able to work through day-to-day life stuff with being able to compromise, and whether it's career stuff or anything. I mean, family stuff.
In the middle.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, you speak about family stuff. Like, we will compromise. Like, okay, this Christmas we're spending it with your family. This holiday we're spending it with my family, or vice versa. We really try to meet in the middle. And as far as like things that we want to do, I have all these crazy ideas, and I always want him to jump on board, and he gets like really shy, and so we meet in the middle. Like, he'll do a little dance for me, and then I'll be like, okay, you don't have to be in a YouTube video today. We compromise, see? No, and also, like, don't be a right fighter. I think, I have seen, and I have been in my past life, that right fighter who it's more important for me to be right than it is for me to have a healthy relationship.
Right.
That doesn't work.
No.
Luckily you never knew that person. Because being a right fighter is a sure way to sabotage your own relationship. Number 5. Number 5 has to do with money. And it is
financial planning. Yeah.
Financial planning, managing your finances, being on the same page
Right.
with your money. We have daily discussions about where our money
Always.
is, where it's going, how we're spending, how we're saving, how we're investing, what we're going to do in the future. He's very good about the day-to-day in like tracking of everything, and I'm very good about being, we like nice things, but in order to have nice things, you have to be frugal in other areas. So
Right.
I'm very good at like managing that side of it. I'm a Taurus, and so I kind of like having control of the finances in that way. But I think we're both like really transparent and open.
You have to be open with that. You have to be there, like no large
large
expenses or
without-
purchases without the other person knowing.
I wouldn't even let this guy. Okay, so he loves sending flowers, and I like receiving flowers. That's great, but we compromise because for a while, actually still, but like he has like arrangements sent to me,
I do.
and I
like that.
appreciate that. I do, but I also appreciate having money in my bank account. So like, at $200 here, $200 there, that adds up. So we've compromised. Met in the middle. I say, I know you like sending flowers. I don't like spending so much money. I mean, this is the thing. When you're in a relationship, especially when you're married, right? Everything is meshed, and we don't do like sometimes I hear people say they have separate bank accounts.
Yeah,
It's
no, we don't
strange.
separate
Like we
anything.
don't know.
Ours are all together.
Yeah, everything is combined, and
But it works for
passwords
us too.
everything.
Again, it works
Teach
for us.
their
I
own.
mean, teach their own. Yeah.
Yeah, financial.
And it's the
planning.
trust that goes along with that. The trust helps with the financial part of it, because if we
Yeah.
didn't trust each other, then that would be difficult as far as managing finances and having them together.
Okay, 5 was financial planning.
Right.
6 is don't try to change each other.
Correct.
We do not try to. That would never work.
It wouldn't work, miss.
On me. It would never work.
It would
I would
never
never
work.
want to change you because I
No,
love you
I
for
love
who
you
you
too.
are.
That's why I would never change. I love everything about you. Your personality is what drew me to you. What I fell in love with. So I wouldn't ask for anything different.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it goes that both ways. I fell in love with who you were, and not. Well, there's nothing about you I want to change. I love you and all your quirks. And that goes along with also accepting that person and how they came to you, right? So like
Right.
I really like being of service. He likes being of service. We do it in different ways. I like being involved in, like Boys and Girls Club, kids and charities and things like that. And he likes doing like low key behind the scenes, like blood donation involved. He'll do all like the work behind being of service without like being front and center. He just does the work because he likes to give back. And I think sometimes I see couples, they'll get like greedy with it. Maybe they don't have the same interest, and one person is off doing their charity work or doing whatever their hobby is, and you try to change that person, like, well, I don't like to do yoga, so come lift weights with me. Well, whatever it is, you like that person for who they are, let them have the time to do what they like to do, and it goes both ways, and then we
Right.
meet in the middle and do things together. I just feel like you cannot try to change each other.
No.
And you have to you get to accept.
Right.
Acceptance is the answer to all your problems. It is for us. And that's number 6. Don't try to change each other. Number 7, share everything.
We do. We share everything.
Everything. Everything. Passwords. It always blows my mind when I see people and they're like, my husband doesn't have my password. Like, why would he need maybe they don't need it. I don't
Right.
need your passwords.
No.
You don't need my passwords. But like, who hides their passwords?
Right.
That is strange, and I hope that is not the case for you when you're in a marriage. Obviously, if you're in just a relationship,
Right.
might be a little different. You're not going to be sharing your passwords. But like money, bank accounts, passwords,
Right.
clothes, life, space, we share everything. Share the duties, the responsibilities,
Right.
the cooking, cleaning, kids, family life. We do hire some help because we need it, and that's okay. But overall, especially like right now, for example, we're living apart,
Right.
and sometimes we just like have to do like I'll send groceries remotely because I know that he's carrying more weight than me. So like that's what I mean about sharing duties. You know, he'll come over, like when I go home for the weekend, he'll like wash my car or whatever because he knows it's like not my thing. But we share the responsibilities of the relationship, and it's just like nice little gestures.
Well, yeah, that's what works for us. Again, that's what we're stressing today is the things that work for us. It may not work for everybody, but this is what we do.
What do you think, Barb? She looks like a little vampire with her. Your dress.
She's hiding mine there.
Come here. Your dress is messy. Oh, she's like, all right, off she goes. All right, so that was number 7, share everything. We have 2 more. Number 8.
Number 8
is have a foundation in faith.
And faith being whatever you see to as your higher power, whether it be God or anything else. We're not identifying a particular religion. We're not promoting a religion. We're just saying what works for us. And again, that's whatever that higher power is for you.
Yeah, you know, we pray together. You know, couples that pray together stay together. I really believe that. We have a foundation for us, our higher power is God. We like to call it God. I believe in God, and I'm a woman of faith, and I really lean into that faith, especially on days that I'm not having a struggle. You know, thanking God every day, living with an attitude of gratitude, being grateful, smiling, and manifesting the happiness and the health that we are blessed to have, and remembering to thank God for that every day. And then when we have those hard days, that solid foundation of faith is there, and we really press into that faith to get through the difficult times, because we've had some really rough times.
We've had some rough times, yeah.
You know, it's not all peachy like everything looks like on TV or social media or whatever. Like sometimes things are really hard, and
life's hard.
For us, that foundation of faith really keeps us going in the rough times. So I'm glad that you believe in God, because if you didn't, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one for me, you know, but that's me. And you know, like he said, not to preach to anybody, because I'm not a fan of like, I don't preach organized religion or any of that for my life. I have a foundation of faith. I pray for God's will. I don't pray for my own will. And whatever happens is, if it's in God's will, then I'm grateful. And that's it. Foundation of faith. Number 9, the very, very last one. You gotta have a sense of humor. You gotta have a sense of humor. You gotta laugh. Laughter is so healthy. Laughter, I mean, we joke literally about everything. Even when, like, I might be kind of irritated about something. Like, I just joke about it, because then it makes me, less irritated. And, you know, sometimes when you can feel irritated, it kind of can, like, rub off on somebody else. And, like, when you're not upset with them, you're just, like, irritated that it's hot, or irritated, whatever the situation is that's irritating. But if you just laugh about it, make a joke about it, and just, like, stay in the happy mood, it just makes life a lot easier. Because life throws so many things your way. It does.
And life is so serious as it is. I mean, it has to be. It's life. So, but when you can take a minute away from that, you know, for our jobs, it can be more serious than maybe the average person at times, based on what we see and what we deal with. But I think it's, you have to have a little humor, and there's not a lot of, you know, humor you can bring into certain situations, obviously what I see in my job. But whenever we can stick some humor in, especially when we're at home and have time to ourselves finally, we try to keep it light that way, because the rest of our life is pretty serious, you know. There's certain times where we just don't have the ability to not take it serious, but when we can,
I'll just grab him in the kitchen and we just do a country line dance, and so you got to just have a good time.
So it's important to take advantage of those opportunities that allow you to have the levity and laughter, because if you don't have that, then that makes it difficult. And that's what makes the relationship fun, more fun, when there's happiness and stuff like that.
I'm so much fun to be around.
She's very much fun to be around.
Very much fun. No, listen, if you go watch our wedding on YouTube, you will see that I kind of coaxed him into having a very fun wedding. We we reenacted how we met, and it's hilarious.
I had
and
to dance
he hates dancing, and I choreographed a dance for him.
On live YouTube, I did,
it was really fun, and I think that's kind of how our relationship started. It was on a basis of laughter, and that's the way that I want it to stay, and I want to keep it that way, because life is too short. Everything is so serious, and so sometimes you just gotta laugh, smile your way through it, and make it a great day. Why? Because we have a choice.
That's right, we do.
You forgot my slogan? Did
Choose
I say
happy.
I say on the news every day? You forgot my
No,
slogan?
you say make it a great day, right?
Oh, what did I just say now?
Did you say make it a great day?
Didn't I say make it a great day?
I think you did. You said, but that's what you say. Make it a great
because,
day.
Yeah, make it a great day. Choose
Because you have a
happy.
choice.
Because you have a choice.
Right.
That's why. And we're going to choose happy. And with that, on that note, those are our 9 habits.
9 habits, not 7, but
Not
9.
7. Our 9 habits for a healthy relationship. I hope that you got value out of this. I hope that we could provide some kind of valuable insight.
If anything, you got a
for
good laugh out of us in the same room.
Out of him.
Out of me.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, you got red lips.
Yeah, Rosa. Be well, everybody.
Bye.